Hello all, my name is Krishnak and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, on 9th November 2020, Google have announced the Objectron dataset. Now this particular dataset looks something like this. You can see the annotation for a 3D object and it is very precisely accurate. Before that, on March 11th 2020, Google had also come up with the real-time 3D object detection on mobile devices with media pipe. But still, there were some issues with respect to the objects, with respect to the accuracy that they were getting. And now they are able to get more precise accuracy because of the annotation techniques that they have actually used in this. Now, before going ahead with respect to this video, guys, first of all, let's go back to the evolution of object detection. From where did object detection start? So if I go back over here, you'll be able to see that object detection initially, I hope everybody knows about RCNN, then came fast RCNN, and then you had faster RCNN, which are actually used for object detection, and when I see over here, guys, faster RCNN is better than fast RCNN and fast RCNN is better than RCNN. Then we had masked RCNN, which was the combination of both object detection and masking. Then you had single shot detector. Then you had YOLO, you look only once, right? So all this kind of object detection technique have actually come up and people are actually using it in most of the real world scenarios and they're doing it absolutely fine. But there is some more problems in this, guys. All this kind of object detected, right? It is basically in a 2D way. So these all are kind of 2D images and the bounding box that you are able to see is basically 2D, right? So in order to overcome this, and as we know that in a real world scenario, we actually have 3D objects and it is always better that if we are able to get some 3D bounding box over the objects that is being seen, right? And for that, Google has come up with this amazing thing that is Objectron. Now, before going ahead with respect to Objectron, guys, initially Google had come up with this real-time 3D object detection on mobile devices with media pipe. Now, you can see that it is saying while 2D prediction only provides 2D bounding box, by extending the prediction to 3D, one can capture the object size, position, and orientation in the world. This is the main goal. It can capture the object size, position, and orientation in the world, right? And apart from this, you will also be seeing that how heavily it can be used in various applications like robotics, self-driving cars, vehicles, image retrieval, and augmented reality. Right? So all these things are actually there. And these are some of the examples, right? These are some of the examples, like suppose if this is a chair and if the 2D, initially definitely it will just go and map with the 2D. Later 2D mapping to 3D mapping is done by this algorithm, which we are going to see. Here you can see that how accurately it is able to capture this particular image, right? And here you can see that with respect to the legs, with respect to a doll sitting in the chair, right? Now, coming to the main thing, right? In this particular data set, how did they obtain the training data? Definitely through annotation, right? Obtaining real world data, 3D training data. Specifically, we require 3D training data. And obviously, we require some kind of annotation techniques, right? So they had actually developed a novel data pipeline using mobile augmented reality. So I can say, you guys see, I've also started uploading videos on augmented reality. And with the help of AR, right, they are able to create this kind of data sets, right? So there are some of the amazing libraries like AR Core, AR Kit. Hundreds of millions of smartphones now have the AR capabilities and ability to capture additional information during an AR session, including the Camera Pro's sparse 3D points and all. So if you don't know, in the AR, what we can do, suppose if there is an object, right, we can convert that object or annotate that object in a 3D view itself, right? If that object is present in a 2D view also, it is possible, guys. I've seen that, and probably I'll be also uploading those tutorials. My brother is actually doing that particular AR thing, and he's uploading the tutorials itself, right? He's been learning from past many months, and probably more videos will be coming in my channel with respect to that, right? Now, see the annotation technique over here. Initially, this was the thing, and they can actually move it. They can actually increase the height and depth, right? And with respect to that, with respect to each and every images, they can annotate in this 3D dimension, 3D way, right? Along with the 3D bounding box. Definitely with the help of AR itself. They cannot just do it like that. Now, Still there were some problems. You can see over here, right, with respect to the object detection, this just had a bounding boxes, right? But now this Objectron datasets, and probably the number of annotated videos was somewhere around 15,000. You can see the datasets consist of 15K annotated video clips supplemented with over 4 million annotated images. And if we have a look onto the architecture, so here you can see the previous architecture which they had actually discussed, that is about the real-time 3D object detection on mobile device with media pipe. They had actually used something called as encoders decoder. See, initially they used encoder decoder and machine learning pipeline for 3D object detection. We understood how the annotation of the images is done, and with after annotating the images, you know, they had actually trained this whole model. They built a single stage model. Now what is this single stage model is that, first of all, they have an encoder decoder architecture. See guys, all these networks, you know, they're all created from some basic networks. They have just assembled together. They've just changed a minute architecture and they're able to do some amazing things. So they have used an encoder decoder architecture with the help of MobileNet v2. So this is again a transfer learning technique that can be used over here. Then after this, the shapes is basically getting detected over here. Apart from this, there is also a regression algorithm which will actually help you to get into 2D projections. And if you know about RCNN, probably why regression is actually used to gather the coordinates of the objects, right? At what coordinates it is present, right? So you can see over here how it is written. The shape task predicts the object shape signal depending on what ground truth annotation is, that is segmentation as an example. This is optional if no space annotation is there. This is fine. The goal of the detection is then to predict the distribution with peak representation of the object center location. And if you read all these things, guys, it is pretty much simple, right? And you'll also be seeing that they also provided you the GitHub link to do this kind of annotation. They have also provided you the GitHub link with respect to this particular architecture. And this was basically coming up in March 11, 2020. And now in the recent one, you know, they were able to create it. See, they have just announced this. Today we are excited to release the Objectron dataset, a collection of short object-centric video clip capturing a larger set of common objects from different angles. And the amount of dataset is pretty much amazing, guys. 50K annotated video clips with over 4 million annotated images collected from a geodiverse sample, right? So this is one example, right? And you can see that this was the previous solution that had actually come, and this is the architecture change that is basically happening. With the help of object detector, you'll be able to get the 2D bounding box, and then after that, from 2D to 3D, they're just adding some additional key points and they are mapping it to a 3D object, right? Along with the 3D bounding box. The type of evaluation metrics that is used is something called as intersection of over union. So this intersection over union is basically used in most of the object detection techniques itself. And as I said, guys, I will be coming up with YOLO. I'm planning to do one problem statement which has more than 1,000 images. We'll try to do the annotation manually, and after doing the annotations by labeling those images, we'll try to train a model. You'll be able to see it's pretty much amazing. I'm just completed around 40 to 50%. I'll be coming back with that, right? So what is this intersection of union is that how to, like if I consider this red color, if I consider this blue color may be with my truth value, red color may be my predicted value. And with respect to that, what is the percentage of the intersection of over union that is happening, right? And that is a mathematical formula altogether. If I go and click this formula is something called as Jaccard index. Okay. And this is the formula that is basically getting used, right? So the same example, I'm going to take the same example, you know, where the traffic light signals will be detected, you know. Obviously, I'll not be using this right now, but I'll start with YOLO, and probably in the future, let's see, whenever I get some things, I'll be doing it. Now, with respect to the dataset format over here, you can see that the technical details of the Objectron datasets, including usage and tutorials, are available in the dataset website. So they have actually provided this as an open source. So here it is, right? They have somewhere around 476 video clips of bike, 202 to 4 of books. These are some annotated images. I think you should definitely try it out. And this is also given in the form of PyTorch. You also have an example with respect to TensorFlow, right? So this is an amazing thing, guys. And again, please do make sure that you always see Google research and the Facebook research pages. It will always be beneficial for you all to understand the new things. And yes, just in some days I'll be uploading the YOLO practical implementation of the object detection. After that, then you'll be able to map it. The data sets that we basically use, the YOLO weights that we basically use, are mostly from the pre-trained models of ImageNet, Coco, where the data sets are of this type, right? So I hope you like this particular video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you have not already subscribed, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Thank you and all. Bye bye.